Will it be the case for you? You have to ask yourself. And I'm doing this video just to make sure that instead of just being convinced by a message you hear on social media and from other women, even if you hear that and it looks pleasant to your ears, you need to also ask yourself. Don't just get in a movement. Ask yourself what you really want. So if you want children, you have to be okay with that, and you have to be okay with disappointing women who think that not having children is the way of doing things. You have to stand for yourself and for what you believe in. And if you don't want children, same thing. It's not about one way or is better than the other. So today we hear a lot about feminism. Yes, men and women are equal. Men and women should have the same blah blah blah. But we also need to be careful about those messages, because we need to know what is really behind, and we also and mostly need to know what we really want, instead of just listening to people screaming, and when you look at their lives, they are not actually applying what they're telling you to do. So if you listen to feminist activists or other women that are feminists, be careful and ask yourself the right questions. And that's what this video is about. Hi, my name is Amina. I'm a life coach, and I'm here to offer you some tips, offer you another perspective, and answer some questions you might have. So if you have questions or video suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. If you like what I do here, please subscribe, like, and share, and help me spread the word. Yes, so the title of this video is Feminism and Real Women Desire. So, and women real desire, that's what I want to say. Okay, so I have 5 points, and I want to discuss each of them, and so to help you ask yourself the right questions if you are tempted to listen to feminists or something. So in my case, I believe that men and women should have equal rights, because we are all human beings. But now what I believe is that men and women, we have different roles. And so if we are in a relationship, we're not gonna do the same thing. And so what the people that I follow online or even other people said is like interdependence instead of independence or codependence. So the subject you need to ask yourself questions about. So number 1 is marriage and love. So do you want to be married? Do you want to find love? Do you want to find a partner? So if you are a woman who claims to be a feminist, do you think that your point of view will work with a man, with an, I won't say an alpha man, I don't like that term, but with a masculine man? If you're okay with being with a feminine man, I think you should be fine. But if you are a woman, a feminist, and given the messages that I hear from the feminists online, you should be careful, because not every man will be okay with that. And I'm not talking about, oh, you need to clean while I need to take care of the trash. It's not about that, but it's more about the energy. It's more about the way you manage your relationship. If you are here screaming, I remember one time I was with somebody, and all of a sudden, I don't remember what happened, but then I told the person, you should come here right now. I don't know what I was thinking about. And the guy was older than me, not that older, but was older than me, and it's a guy, a masculine man. And so when I told him that, it didn't end up well for me. And so yeah, so you need to be careful. You need to be careful with your language. You need to be careful. And I'm not saying that you need to bow down and say, oh, you're my God, or no, it's not about that. It's just that masculine men have their ego. You have to talk to them in a specific way. And I'm not saying that you are the one doing all the efforts, because they also need to do their part. But you need to know what you shouldn't do and what you should do. And so if you want to be in a loving relationship and eventually get married, you have to know how to talk to your man. You have to know how to be in a relationship with a man, with a masculine man. If you are a feminist, or if you believe in the message of feminist, you need to find a way to make your viewpoint working with a masculine man. Otherwise, it's not gonna go well for you. So ask yourself, do you really want marriage? If you really want marriage, what can you do to prepare yourself for that? Are the requirements too much for you because you're a feminist? Or are you okay to make some compromises because you actually want to find love and be married? So you have to ask yourself all those questions. And there is no shame in wanting that. I believe that men and women should be equal, but at the same time, I want to find love and I want to be married. So I know that with a masculine man, some things won't work, and so I've stopped doing a few things, and I'm working toward making this change, because I know if I stay the same, it's not gonna work. So I need to do my part, and I know in a couple we make compromises, so I am not too worried about that. But at least I have to do my part, and I know I had some challenges that couldn't work with being in a loving relationship with a masculine man. So point number 2 is you need to ask yourself about having children. So do you want children? If so, how many? Are you ashamed of wanting children? Are you ashamed of telling to people you want children? So there is nothing wrong with wanting children, and if you don't want children, that's also your choice, but you have to be clear. And don't let other people influence you by telling you things like, oh, life without children is paradise. Because even if at 35 a woman with no children is very, very happy, you don't know how she's gonna feel at 40 or 50 or 60. And I'm not saying that she's going to be miserable, but it's just to not believe the narrative. Because for some women it works and they're actually very happy with no children. But will it be the case for you? You have to ask yourself. And I'm doing this video just to make sure that instead of just being convinced by a message you hear on social media and from other women, even if you hear that and it looks pleasant to your ears, you need to also ask yourself, don't just get in a movement. Ask yourself what you really want. So if you want children, you have to be okay with that, and you have to be okay with disappointing women who think that not having children is the way of doing things. You have to stand for yourself and for what you believe in. And if you don't want children, same thing. It's not about one way or is better than the other. It's just about what you want. What do you want? So point number 3 is about work. So if you want to be in a relationship and you want to be married, you want to have children, what do you think about working while being a mom? So if you don't have children, we don't even ask the questions unless you are with a very rich man and you can just stay home and he's gonna take care of you and he's fine with that and you are fine with that. But if you get married, you have children, or even if you don't get married but you have children and you have a partner, and you are doing life the way that works for you, what do you think about working? What do you think about staying at home? So I have a very good friend, and she has twins. So her husband works and she stays home with the babies, and it's very hard for her. But and at some point, because she used to work before having the babies, and so at some point she was questioning her value, and because I've heard, especially in the Ramsey show, they actually encourage women who stay at home to take care of the children and say, no, what you're doing is valuable. You are making sacrifices so that your children are raised right, and you are here for them every day. Because what's the point of paying for daycare if when you go to work, what you actually bring home pays the daycare and that's it? So if you can make the choice of staying at home with the children, or if you make the choice of going back to work, just be okay with your decision. If you stay at home, you still have values and you're doing a great job, and it's a very difficult job. If you're going to work and you leave the babies at daycare, that's also fine, because it's difficult for mom to leave her child at daycare while she's working. It's very difficult. So no matter what you choose, just be okay with that and be aware of what you want. Once again, it's about what you want, not about what you hear online, people trying to make you feel guilty. Follow your heart and follow what's really important for you first, not what other people say online. Okay, so before we get to the next point, I wanted to let you know that I have a one-on-one coaching service. So if you are interested in working with me, you can reach out using the link in the description box. I also have a blog where I talk about the same kinds of subjects. So if you like to read and you want to give it a try, please do, and thanks in advance. Okay, so point number 4 is about the strong woman and the boss babe. So I'm not very familiar with that, but I've heard that term many times, and from what I've seen, it's about, even with the what's the name, with the Disney movies and the animes and blah blah blah, we start to see women who used to be very gentle, very kind, like what's the name, Snow White, even for the Mario movie where the prince is now the one saving Mario, really. And so we seeing that kind of things more and more, and so that's because we have activists pushing the narrative that the woman should be strong and should be the one, doing all the things and blah blah blah. She shouldn't be saved by a man. If you believe that, that's your choice and good for you. I'm not gonna criticize you for that. I'm here for freedom. Everybody should support what they believe in. But what I'm really interested in is, what do you believe? Do you think that a woman should always be the one fighting the battle? She doesn't need a man. She doesn't need to be saved, blah, blah, blah. Do you really believe that? If that's the case, good. If that's not the case, don't let yourself be tempted, and then you're gonna regret later when no man is interested in being with you, because you're always saving the day, and you always don't want to be helped. For women who have been single for a long time, we are tired of doing everything ourselves. So if we can find a guy who is a good man and who wants to take care of us, we're not gonna say no. Because the real problem is not about being saved by a man, it's to be saved by the right man. And we don't want to depend on a crook or somebody who is here just to take advantage of us. That's the only reason why we don't want to the saving things and the princess and whatever. But if you ask me, I like my princess movies. I like the prince coming, with his beautiful, attire, and who is saving the day. I am totally fine with that. I have no problem with it. And so if you are against it, I am not here to criticize you. I'm just saying, please be aware of what you really want, because you don't want to be the strong woman all the way to your 70s and then you regret being by yourself, because no man is fine with that. Okay, and other men will be fine with that, but that's just because you are able to balance the energies, the feminine and the masculine, when you are in couple with them. But if you are always the strong woman, the boss babe, nobody can help you, at some point the man will get tired and is gonna leave. So ask yourself the question, what do you really want? And so my last point is about intimacy and body counts. So today we hear that when you can sleep around and do whatever you want with your body, it's actually freedom and that's liberation and things like that. But if you are a woman who is a conservative and who believes that it's better to preserve your body for the right person, and I'm not talking about, oh, you're a virgin until marriage, it's not about that. But if at some point you're tired of every time you get in a relationship with somebody, you are intimate with that person and then it doesn't work, and you do that too often to the point that now your body count is like in the dozens, you want to avoid that. At some point you have to say stop, and you have to evaluate the situation. Do you want to sleep around? Do you believe that this is women empowerment, or do you believe that I actually have to preserve myself and make sure I don't end up in bed with many men? Ask yourself the question, what do you believe in? What is right for you? Don't just listen to the narrative saying that, okay, sleeping around the way you want is actually women empowerment. What do you believe? Okay, so as a recap, on this video about feminism and women real desire. So my first point was about love and marriage. The second point was about having children. The third point is about working or staying at home when you have children and a marriage. My fourth point was about being the strong woman and the boss babe all the time. And point number 5 is about intimacy and body counts. Okay, so my challenge for you today is, if you want to be married, even if you have grown up in a house of feminists and your mom will be very disappointed by you because you want to be married or whatever, affirm that you actually want to be married. Affirm that you actually want to find love and be with somebody that is good for you and you will be good for them. There is no shame about that. You have that right. So please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share if you like what I do here. And if you have questions or video suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below. So my question for you today is, what do you think about the feminist message? So about, being the strong woman, and even the movies that we see are changing, like Peter Pan and the Snow White, and even the Mario with Princess what's her name, Peach, that are saving the day. What do you think about that? And once again, I'm not here to criticize your point of view. I'm just saying that don't just listen to the narrative. Check with yourself that this is actually something you believe in or not. Okay, so that's it for today. I hope this video helps. Until next time, I wish you a good week and I will see you later. Bye and thanks for watching.